I was aware that Joe was, communicating with Doug Phillips, and during this whole time they were trying to work out a settlement, and with the Forbes and Doug Phillips, or the DeRosas, Doug Phillips, and I think the Forbes were part of it too. So I knew Joe was contacting different people, and at one point Joe did share an email or two with me from Doug Phillips that accused him of terrible things, really threatening letters and very strong language, and I was very kind of shocked to read that kind of thing coming from a Christian to another Christian, even if they were in conflict. Pretty negative stuff, and that was what I knew at the time.
So you haven't actually physically read any of those, the actual letters that went between?
I've read, I think, one letter from Doug Phillips to Joe that Joe faxed me, or I think that was it. I haven't read Joe's letters to him, and back and forth, just the one as an example.
Now, were you aware the mediation was very skewed and Joe Taylor never got to present his side? It was either they got to present their side, and then they said, here's our offer, take it or leave it, and Joe never ever got to have his side presented.
Well, I'm aware of that, now, after the fact, I became aware of it. I didn't know at the time.
And that he couldn't have witnesses that present?
I didn't know all that. I wasn't real in favor of this arbitration process to begin with, and I tried to discourage Joe from going in that direction. It never seemed to be quite fair from what I had heard, about it.
Well, normally, under all things being equal, it would seem like arbitration or mediation would be preferable to court.
Sure.
What was it that concerned you, that you would discourage him from that?
Well, I guess, I don't know. I think I just thought that Joe had a strong legal case, and I didn't think, from what I was hearing, that Doug Phillips and the DeRosas were very ethical people, and so I didn't necessarily trust the mediation process.
Because really, in order to have a Christian solution, both sides have to exhibit Christian behavior. Wouldn't you say that's true?
Right. And after reading this letter from Doug Phillips to Joe, that didn't seem to bode well from my perspective as far as mediation went, and it just seemed, as Joe would tell me what they were proposing as far as mediation, it just never sounded very good to me. It seemed to be weighted against Joe always, and always in favor of the other guys.
And of course, Doug was a lawyer, so he knew how to legally maneuver Joe Taylor all along the way. Don't you feel that way as you read the letter? Or, well, you've only read one. I've read them all, but.
Probably. I mean, he seems like a very smart, clever man.
Did you feel like that letter revealed his heart?
Well, yeah, I thought it revealed a lot about Doug Phillips and his character, his true character, and what the man was really like.
Now, are you aware that in that mediation process, that Doug Phillips was allowed to continue to sell his video, but Joe Taylor was censured from selling his?
Somewhat aware of that. Yeah, and the whole thing doesn't seem fair to me from beginning to end, that Joe didn't even get to present his side. That's not mediation to me. To me, that's an invalid mediation.
Exactly.